This next video I'll be reviewing another DAP product, and this one is actually a polyurethane as well, black, and it's for metal or wood. If you haven't watched, and if you want to watch the other videos on these other products, feel free to do so. And once again, what I found is that polyurethane is the closest thing to rubber that you can find, and there's a huge range of applications for these products. One thing that really caught my curiosity is that polyurethane is also used on paints. You actually get urethane or polyurethane paints and stains for wood. So go figure, you know, these from a silicone rubber-like product to a stain, yet the name is still the same. You know, it's very strange. But anyways, this one is black. The texture between this one and this one was quite different. This one seems a little bit more liquidy, but just as the others, it sticks to anything and everything. And you know, polyurethane, rubber, I pretty much just like to stick with rubber for everything, for gaskets, for oil pan gaskets, differential transmission gaskets. Just keeps things simple, everything rubber. Some gaskets used to be made of cork, and cork is relatively porous, and then it starts to leak or seep over time. Even though it's not damaged, it's just from the pores being old and soaked in oil. And then you have high temperature products, this and that. Wherever I can, I like to use this stuff here. I've used it on, like I said, on oil pans without any problems, without any issues whatsoever. And this, by the way, these polyurethane products are a great alternative for RTV gaskets. It's about a third of the price, and for the same size bottle, same 300 milliliters, and the same thing about this size for RTV sells at least $20. So this here cost, I think it was about $7 or $8. Around less than 10. It was under $10 for sure. Don't remember the exact price, but it was under 10. So it says here 35% joint movement, maximum adhesion, flexibility. Completely agree with that, and the other one too. Superior durability. Don't see how this product will not be durable. Like I said, this is used in construction. In construction, this is from Home Depot, and it's used on roofs, and so it's pretty indestructible. And same as the other one, you gotta leave it fully dries in 7 days. That's sometimes that's bad, because you'd have to actually wait that long to be able to use the product. But I find that it dries, depending on the thickness, it dries sufficient in a day or two. It's dry enough in that amount of time. Same as the others, it works well with works well on metal. I actually use this to seal, to glue the rubber on the Rambler's hood. Rubber that start to display. I'll just show you guys where I used it, where it goes. So I used it to glue this piece of rubber onto the sheet, onto the body of the car, onto steel. As you can see, it's, if I really got pliers, I could rip it off, but it's stuck there really well. And I also used it over here, as you can see. So you can use it as a weather stripping glue or compound. You can use it as a windshield adhesive. You can see it does not come off, even on the paint. it will not come off. And it feels, this actually feels more like a tire rubber, like from a tire, between a rubber tire and like an eraser texture. That also feels like an eraser, like an actual eraser for erasing a pencil line marks. So that's sort of the texture. That's what I used it for. Originally, that spot there, that rubber that I just showed you, it came with some little T-clips, in the shape of a T that would hold that down. It was a thinner rubber as well, so I really upgraded that. And those little things, those little clips, would just hold it down. But of course, they were really shitty, and they just got they were actually thin. They weren't round. They were just sheet. They were made of sheet, so it actually cut through the rubber in one direction. And the ones that didn't do that, they just rusted away. So I actually thought of putting elevator bolts in, and I actually marked that elevator bolts have a really wide head on them, and that's to use to hold rubber sheets to fasten the rubber sheets on steel and other materials. The flat head is able to spread the load evenly on the rubber, whereas if you just have a really small head, it can actually drill through the rubber or the gasket that you're using. So the flat head just keeps everything nice and tight without drilling a hole through it. So that's where I used that. I used it here, and I also used it to seal the weather stripping on the door. So I used it here, I used it there. It's still, it feels a little bit soft, like spongier, that's the word, than some of the other polyurethane products. This here wasn't. See here, this I used silicone, which by the way is completely obsolete and garbage now. So that's what I use that for. There we go. Great product. You can also use it here. Repair old rubbers or seal them where there's too much space, like there, for example. Or here, possibly. So I'll definitely put some in there. I might have actually put some in there already. So that's where I use that product. I guess not much else to say about it. Worked really well for me. Like I said, it's supposed to be used on metal. It's a little bit easier to clean off than when compared to this one here. This one, like I said, it's heavier and stickier. You stick your finger in it, like a whole bunch of it comes with it, and it's not that it's good or bad, it's just different. This one, I stick my finger in it and not so much comes with it, so it's a little bit lighter. And if I wipe it like that, if I go like that on a rag, it'll clean off fairly easily, a little bit easier. Yeah, fairly easily, I can say that. Between this one and this one here, both DAC products, because I couldn't really tell the difference in terms of use and performance. To me, they work, they feel pretty much the same. See, this is one of those things where manufacturers, they go overboard with things, and they try, just like back then, you just have cement, mortar, cement, you'd use that for bricks, use that for tiles, simple, mortar or cement. Now you have polymer, you have a mortar for bricks, a mortar for tiles, a mortar for thin tiles, a mortar for gray tiles, a white mortar, a gray mortar, a black mortar, a mortar for buildings, mortar for high pressure, a mortar for underwater, mortar that's resistant to mildew. So they really went overboard with things, and which makes it difficult when you're looking for a good product. A good product will cover all of those problems. So I'm pretty confident with this. Like I said, it's just perfect for. I can use it as a gasket. I can use it as an adhesive. I can use it as a glue. I can use it to seal joints. I can use it as undercoating, seams. I can paint on it. Shit, I could possibly even use it as a, like the white one, as a body filler. Some tiny crack holes, for example, little pinholes on paint. So it's completely diesel, gasoline, oil proof. There's not a lot more I could ask of this. It could be a little bit cheaper. That would be nice. Like as you can see, you really go through it. If you're doing your whole car, it adds up, but it's still fairly reasonable. So that's that product there. Well, this one says it's for metal and wood. The other one, for example, says it's for drain spouts and lap joints, which are made of metal. So, you know, I bet you it's 99% the same. And some of the same types of informations, they don't list it, for example. See, this one, yeah, look, just as I was saying, you see, it says here on this one, ideal for metal joints. I don't know if you can read that or not. Ideal for metal joints, but it doesn't say for metal on the big title. But you read along here, it says ideal for metal joints. This other one, the black one, which is polyurethane, says it's for metal. So this one lists the flexibility, it says 35%. The other one doesn't say anything, it just says durable and flexible. This one doesn't say it's paintable, but it looks like it is paintable. Painted over this. And this one, the white one, says it's meets ASTM C1311. Don't know what that is. This one here, the black one, this is interesting. It says above or below waterline use. And the other one, the white one, says you shouldn't use it underwater, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, do not use for below waterline or window glazing applications. So apparently one is suitable for underwater. This one, sorry, the black one is suitable for underwater. This other butyl rubber isn't. So, I mean, to be really conclusive about these products and know exactly how well they perform, I'd have to glue different parts together and see how much force it takes to separate them, measure how much I can stretch them and things like that, put paint on them, and honestly I don't have the time to do that, and I don't get paid to do that. I really like to do that though, but it's one of those things in life where maybe I'll do it one day, but at least you know what I think of these, and at least you know they're good products. If you want to know exactly how good they are, then you could either test it yourself or pay me to test it or something like that. I have other priorities at the moment. But I guess not much more to say about this. This one here, you see there's no information on it, like no specific information. It doesn't list the percentage of joint movement, it doesn't say if it's to be used below waterline. It doesn't say if it's paintable. Obviously this is another brand of Rust-Oleum, but it just goes to show. So I don't know if this is 100% polyurethane. I've got no idea how those things work. So I guess we're pretty much done this product here. that I've covered pretty much everything about it. So for this, till the end of the video, I'd just like to talk a little bit about silicone. I've used it in the past, and it's about the same price as these things, but I'm pretty sure it's more expensive. Silicone is more expensive than these products. I couldn't find one single advantage of the silicone over this here, over these polyurethane products. The silicone will come off eventually. It's not as sticky as this stuff. It's not as rubbery. It's more expensive. It's not as hard as it once it dries. It's much softer. It comes off much more easily. It's actually not too hard to rip off silicone, even though you apply it the right way. That being said, I'd like to take you to the Thunderbird there. So silicone has definitely become obsolete, and that's why I'm not even doing a review on it, because it's, like I said, I you know, for some places it's worked decently. You know, it's still there, but those other products are much better than the silicone. So it's become obsolete. I'd just like to show you this really quick here. So I've used that white polyurethane, and the gray one as well, which you'll see in the next video. Seal all the joints on the Thunderbird. You probably can't tell from the video, but it sticks really, really well, especially if you apply it properly. This is going to stay here. It's not coming off ever. And just to show you, there's that little part there where there's a blob on it, and I didn't push it in, but just to show you, look at how hard that is. It won't come off. See, it sticks. You see, I broke the top of it off, but the half of it is still stuck to the steel, and I didn't even press that in. So same for this one, and it is fairly hard. The best way to describe it, once it hardens, is like pressing a tire, a little bit softer, but just like a car tire or maybe a bicycle tire. And as you can see, it's really stuck. If this was silicone, I would have been able to rip this off quite easily. So just to show you how good these products are and how well they work. And once again, I use it to seal any joints, any seams. I used it up here, and I use it as glue to glue rubber to steel. I used it around here, as you can see as well. That's a different product though, but in terms of it, as how it feels once it dries, it's exactly the same. If I had my eyes closed or even with my eyes open, I couldn't tell the difference. Except the color, obviously, but you can get it in white as well, I'm pretty sure. But just to show you these products, it's surprisingly really really good. Strong, durable. I don't know what more. Like I said, I can dump gasoline, diesel on it, and oil, and maybe what sort of, you know, all sorts of different chemicals and acids on it, and it'll stay there. So like I said, once again, not much more I could ask from it. Very, very satisfied. Very happy that I found these products, which I had been looking for them for a long time. One of the closest Home Depot here did not have any of these products. They just had the stupid silicone, so I'm really happy to have found this. I guess that pretty much covers it. There's still just one more video on another slightly different product, which to me they're pretty much all the same. I couldn't, at least in terms of my uses, they might actually all be the same, exactly the same for what I'm using it for. So that's another thing that you got to consider. Sometimes product is made for something, It has certain advantages that you don't actually use over another one. So I'll leave that for the next video.